Petroleum prices are expected to go up marginally in the coming days. The projected increase is due to unfavorable developments on the international market, as I've been saying. But are reasons for the increase justified at the time that the cedi is gradually stabilizing against the dollar? We have some answers in this report.
Data from importers of these products, a litre of diesel would go up by 4%. This means that a gallon would sell for 23 cedis, 71 pesos, representing a 1 cedi increment from the last pricing window. Petrol, on the other hand, would do about 1%, resulting in a gallon being sold later in the week at around 23 cedis, 4 pesos. LPG would go up by almost 2% per kilogram. According to those who import these products, the sudden hike in demand for diesel because winter is approaching and hikes in crude oil prices were the main reasons for the expected increment. For some, the reason for this increase is interesting, especially when consumers were looking forward to reaping the benefits of the cedi's marginal stability in terms of prices remaining unchanged at the pumps. There are over 90 oil marketing companies, and based on the deregulation policy, there is the likelihood that not all the firms may review their prices upwards. However, some are of the view that if the top 5 oil firms adjust prices, others may follow. This is the second time this month that the prices have gone up after some reduction last week.
Well, meanwhile, government says it has no immediate plan of removing taxes on petroleum products to help deal with expected hikes in fuel prices. Some civil society groups and experts have been calling for further reduction in taxes on the various products to help manage projections that crude oil could be going up further in the coming weeks. But listen to Deputy Energy Minister Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam. He has been speaking to my colleague George Yafe.
We came into government where the tax component in the petroleum price build-up was 40%. 40% by March 2017. To date, we have been able to reduce it to 26%. The excise tax on petroleum products was abolished completely. The special petroleum tax, and these are the two major taxes. All the others, yes, they are levies, but they are levies for specific purposes. The only levies or taxes that go to the government budget were the excise tax and then the special petroleum tax. Now, government has abolished the excise tax. And then the special petroleum tax, which is the second one, government has reduced it from 17.5% to about 12.5%, 13%. But in addition to reducing it by that margin, government has converted it from ad valorem tax to specific tax. So it is not volume-based any longer. Otherwise, if you were buying more, then the amount you pay in respect of the special petroleum tax, when it was ad valorem tax, was also more. But making it a specific tax, you have a fixed amount which you have to pay, whether you consume more or less. And so these are the interventions on the fiscal side. But apart from this, you know that there is another levy we call the stabilization levy and the under recovery levy. This is to help us stabilize the price. I'm talking about stabilizing prices. And so where you have exhausted that money, then you do not have any money to stabilize prices.
But I'll be coming to that clarity because I went through the accounts that we have in the U.S. Federal Reserve. I didn't see that figures as in the zeros being written there, but I'll come for clarity on the one. So do I get the understanding that in terms of further reviews on the taxes as at now, that will be difficult to do because still when you engage those other civil society groups and all the rest, they are still pushing for reviewing the tax build-up, and maybe that could help cushion consumers?
Even before I address that, I wanted to let you know that the price stabilization levy is also for under-recoveries. It's not just to stabilize price, but also for under-recoveries. There are under-recoveries because we still subsidize kerosene, right? We still subsidize aviation, premix fuel. We still subsidize fuel oil, which is used by industry, by factories. We still subsidize them because of the impact they have on industrial production, because of the impact they have on fishing, on the fishing industry. We still subsidize. And it is this stabilization and under-recovery levy which is used for that purpose. And so if it is not being used for stabilization, it is being used to pay subsidies for premixed fuel and then for fuel oil.
And that was the Deputy Energy Minister, Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam, there, essentially saying that government was not going to remove any taxes on petroleum products. So brace up for fuel price increases. Now, business associations have criticized the timeliness of the cargo tracking note system. Two of these associations, the Ghana Union of Traders Association and the Chamber of Commerce, say the CTN will not only disrupt trading activities at the ports, but also drive away investors. Charles Aite has more in this report.
The CTN system has begun in earnest, but with some controversy surrounding its implementation. The Ghana Chamber of Commerce and Industry has described the cargo tracking note system as a rushed decision by government, while the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders also thinks the GRA has acted in bad faith. Addressing the media, President of the Chamber of Commerce, who is also on the board of the Ghana Port and Harbours Authority, says broader consultation needs to be conducted on this matter.
Port and Harbours Authority, even though it's a government agency or authority, I want to say that some of these things, they are not aware. I am on the board of GPHA, and this CTN was not discussed even at the board level. Why? So we could have waited and taken all the stakeholders through this process so that we all buy into it and then move it. For me as a person, let me tell you, if it were for the objective that was set by the Commissioner of GRA, we could have given out incentives instead.
Meanwhile, President of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, Dr. Joseph Obeng, says, contrary to government's quest that the CTN will help rake in more revenue, the model will not only slow down import activities at the port, but also lead to some huge losses to the trading community.
We have to look at the whole thing holistically and see that imposing this on us will not augur well for us, for the trading community. We say we are not accepting any imposition with regard with quotas, registration, going for a code, going to apply for exemption and all that. We are not going to do any such thing, seriously. And so I will entreat all the trading public, especially those who belong to GUTA and the other stakeholder grouping, to start organizing emergency meetings and then bring their feedback to us so that we know what to do as soon as possible.
Well, so far, government has stated that the introduction of the cargo tracking notes will, in the long run, improve revenue mobilization and risk management at the ports. But business associations are still insisting the need for broader consultation as well as the consideration of the cost that this could incur on them in the longer future. I'm Charles Aite reporting for Joy Business.
All right, we'll stay with port-related issues because government has shortlisted 6 firms out of the 20 companies that submitted bids to redevelop the Tema shipyard and dry dock facility into a world-class structure. Malaysian investors who were given the facility to develop failed to deliver. Here's more in this report.
Ghana in 2012 reacquired its previously held majority stake in the shipyard dry dock company from a Malaysian firm, Boosted Limited. Government considers the shipyard a strategic national asset and seeks to rehabilitate and upgrade it into a modern, well-equipped facility to ensure it contributes significantly to the integrated bauxite as well as the oil and gas industry. The growth of the oil and gas sector requires the development of the shipyard to promote local content within the industry. The 6 selected companies are joint venture companies between some Ghanaians and international counterparts. Kwegu Ofori Esiamia is Minister for Transport.
A tour of the shipyard has been planned after this session for those who want to see the shipyard, to enable them ascertain at the first hand the state of the facility of our yard. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the expectation of government that the private partner that will be selected at the end of the solicitation processes will partner government to bring about the needed technology and investment that would eventually lead to the scale-up facilities at the yard. For the oil and gas activities in Ghana, the shipyard is well positioned to take advantage of the opportunities and help to promote local content and improve Ghana's competitiveness in West Africa offshore oil and gas industry.
Transactional advisor of the bidding process, David Ofosu-Dorte, has been speaking about the next stage before government signs the development agreement with a successful bidder.
The process closes on November 2nd, and based on the submissions received on that day, the GOG will set up an evaluation team, which will be comprised of the government of Ghana officials and some technical advisors. And based on that, recommendations will be made and it will be sent to the ministry, to cabinet for approval, and the process will normally end with parliamentary approval, especially if it involves a foreign investor. So that is the core process that we will go through, and to this extent, unless there is any immediate clarification regarding what has been said by the minister or myself, we can end the open issues here.
The selected companies include Darmac Marine and Engineering, Lador Free Zone Enterprise, Secant Technologies, Submarine Holdings, Strategic Securities Limited, and Life Forms Limited.
You're watching Business Live. We are taking a short break. When we come back, we put the spotlight on World Food Day. Welcome back to Business Live. Now, 35% of food prepared mostly at eateries in Ghana are not eaten. That is according to a research by not-profit organization Chefs for Change Ghana Foundation. Also, a recent report by the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, indicates that 1/3 of the food produced for human consumption is wasted globally. Those are some of the realities we face as we mark World Food Day. Now, take a look at this short report from the FAO.
Each year, 1/3 of all the food the world produces is lost or wasted. Not only does this mean an economic loss, it means that all of the natural resources used for growing, processing, packaging, transporting and marketing that food were also wasted. Imagine. 28% of the world's agricultural land grows crops that are wasted. That equals the total land area of China, Mongolia and Kazakhstan. Plus the water wasted in growing those crops equals the annual flow rate of the Zambezi or the Volga rivers, an amount that could cover all the world's household water needs. And as agriculture and fisheries expand into wild areas, overexploit natural resources, forest and marine habitats are lost, along with their biodiversity. Above all, wasted food emits some 3.3 gigatons of greenhouse gases. If this were a country, it would represent the 3rd largest emitting country in the world. This cannot continue. With a future of more people and fewer resources, we cannot afford to throw our natural resources out with the garbage. Let's do something about wastage.
Let's do something about the wastage. Well, another focus for the commemoration of the World Food Day is on new and more productive ways to farm food and diversify crops. And there's one group of entrepreneurs doing just that. We're hoping he will join us via Skype, but I'm told we don't have good connection. So we speak on the phone to Paul Kwabena-Esiedu. He's co-founder of Tech Shelter. Thanks for your time tonight. For the benefit of our audience, share with us what Tech Shelter is. Okay, so we don't have Paul on the line. We'll try and re-establish contact with him. You're still watching Business Live. Let's try one more time. Paul, can you hear me?
Yeah, it's clear now. Hello.
Okay, nice. All right. So I was asking you to shed more light on what Tech Shelter does.
Okay, Tech Shelter, it's a company that provides advisory services. It also provides automation and a connection to market for greenhouse farmers. Basically, the intention is to help greenhouse farmers improve their yield. Over the years, greenhouse farmers have tried meeting up their targets because by design, greenhouses are structures that allows farmers to control pests and diseases and also manage properly irrigation, temperature controls, humidity. The real deal is to give an expected yield. But that has eluded a lot of our farmers because they have several pain points that does not allow them meet the expected yields. So about 40% is what they make their yield. So we are trying to plug the hole by providing agronomic services that allows them to understand the language of the crop and also provide automation to help them mitigate human errors that actually has affected their yields. So that's the solution we're providing so far.
Tell me a bit more about the kind of research you did before starting out on this project. And because as we have been reporting, the World Food Day is putting the spotlight on producing more with less. What did you find to be the Ghanaian situation when it comes to food cultivation?
All right. Over the period, we had interaction with Cosmos Energy prior to our kicking off business and all that. Cosmos allows you to go on market research to actually see for yourself around the country what the issues are. So we discovered that, yes, people were doing a lot of open field work, but the challenge was they were exposed to so much risk. What it meant was that they invest so much in growing vegetables, and at the end, because of disease attack or force majeure issues like rainfall and all that, they lose everything. So we realized that there was a niche, or there was an area in the space which had some assured production, and that was greenhouse farming. So what it meant was that people were sure of putting in and getting the results they expect without interference from all of these. So we realized that, yes, this was a place to pay attention to. But on coming into the space, yes, I had been providing services in that area prior to our engagement with Cosmos. But realized that on coming into the space, we realized people had challenges of meeting those expected yields. So even though they had the greenhouse all right, and with that little space, seriously, when we look at the research, we realize that based on the data available, per square meter or per square area, you are able to produce, compared to the open field, 4 times more than the open field. So if you are producing in a greenhouse, your yields are 4 times as compared to the open field. And we realized that was the place to be, because then people can be assured of quantities without using so much space.
All right.
So that's what we came, that's what we understood.
We just have 1 minute on this next one. I mean, good technology you're trying to introduce. What kind of support would people like you who have this idea to apply technology to food production need?
Hello. So the last one, I didn't get that last one.
Yes, I was asking, I mean, you've got a good concept, and I'm sure there are so many people out there who have ideas of how to use technology to boost food production. What kind of support do you need?
Yeah. Okay, currently we have done the MVP. We've tested our product. We have rolled out in demo sites and currently onboarding some clients. We really need support in form of some finance to help us push our research and development further and fine-tune our product and be sure that we can manage pricing so that a lot of farmers can onboard this service and get the benefits of this technology so that in the long term, we can produce even more for our people and beyond Ghana too. We need the financial support, which is critical. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, Paul Esiedu. He's co-founder of Tech Shelter, which is, of course, participating in the Cosmos Innovation Center Agri-Tech Challenge. Before we wrap up tonight, we want to bring you our interview of the day. And we get to hear next from Country Director of not-for-profit organization Invest in Africa, Clarence Nate, on a homegrown project the organization is undertaking.
Basically, the idea there is that there is no sustainable growth without, the growth of our SMEs. We grow hand in hand. So our job, our target, is really to identify 50 or more suppliers on the APP who have the potential to become buyers, so that they in turn can also subcontract procurement opportunities to smaller SMEs on the pool. So we've identified these, and we're going to support them, to help build their supply chain and procurement, capacity and capabilities, and also provide strategic marketing support and even financing support as well, so that they can get to a stage of also now helping smaller Ghanaian enterprises. My goal ultimately is to have one or two of them sit on the partner table as well, so that the IA model we can see is that you can come in as a supplier and then grow to become a buyer, and then continue to grow to become a partner. It's not impossible.
All right, that interview wrapping our business live tonight. There's more news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. And I know you're gearing up for Hotline tonight at 6:30 p.m. Well, we are not showing the part 2 of the Hotline documentary, Surviving Cancer by Seth Kwame Boateng. Rather, we'll be showing Poison on the Menu, a documentary about food safety because of World Food Day. Thanks for watching. My name is Darryl Kwao.